I'm so inspired when people wear really unique things. Nothing makes me chuckle and happier when I see someone wearing a dinosaur onesie to the grocery store in May and not Halloween. Like, I love it when people go out on a limb just to make their spirit happy. I love to talk about what makes your spirit happy, like what makes you light up, what brings you joy. Hello, my beautiful intuitive voice listeners. It is Martha Arnett here today, and I am gonna do this one solo. Angela is on vacation and having a lovely time, and I had a topic that I wanted to talk about today. I started out my morning being super inspired, feeling super high vibe, high frequency, just having a lovely morning. I had received some texts from some folks and some family members that were sharing how they've been positively impacted by our podcast. And I was just feeling so good. My heart was feeling so open. My body was feeling really, really light. And I was just feeling a lot of joy and gratitude. So I threw on some hiking clothes and ran out my back door with both of my dogs, Gus and Freya. And what I love about living in Santa Fe is that we have many, many hiking trails right off of our house. So we hopped on a trail and we were just skipping down the trail, literally having just this lovely early morning hike. And another thing I love about the Santa Fe trails is a lot of the times you don't pass many people at all. And we hadn't passed anybody, the dogs and I. And I was just thinking about what I was going to say on the pod today and just how I was going to share about inspiration and frequency and joy and how we can connect with those things and how those impact our intuitive channel. And as I was walking down the trail, up came a dog, a black lab was running up, and up came with it their owner. And that owner happened to be, or the person with the dog happened to be the one person in my adult life that I can recall that has been very unkind to me. I happened to be here in Santa Fe, and it was almost an unbelievable situation where they were just extremely, extremely unkind to me. And I immediately could feel my energy sink. I could immediately feel my vibration lowering and just some sort of negative thoughts kicking in. I could feel just kind of the joy begin to drain out of me as I saw her and interacted with her. She went on her way, and then I was left with this lower energy and this sort of feeling of yuck. So I thought to myself, what a beautiful opportunity, Martha. You can get the opportunity to shift and practice and do all those things that you know what to do to shift back. So I wanted to share that with all of you today. We can start out, as we all know, we start out in one energetic space, and then we often shift to other spaces throughout our day because of events that happen, comments that are said, people with history come into our on our hiking trails. And I wanted to share what I do. So we know from a psychotherapist perspective, we know that our thoughts create our emotions. Our emotions are what are connected to our feelings, and obviously our feelings what impact that sense that we get in our body. So I began to shift my thoughts, and I literally thought, interesting universe, interesting that you would put this one person that I never run across ever in Santa Fe anymore, ever. I don't think I've seen her in over a year. That on this morning that I was feeling so high vibe, high frequency, my body was buzzing in such a happy way. The sun was shining. The sky is a deep, beautiful blue. The dogs were happy to be out. That you would have this one individual cross my path. And I thought, okay, this is intentional. This is where my mind goes. This is intentional, Martha. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do with this impact? So what I did is I began to change my thoughts about it. I began to call in thoughts around this person being my teacher. I always go to that. Okay, so people that impact me, often negatively and positively, but in this case, negatively. What was she here to teach me? So I started to think about that, and I started to think about all the positive things that I'm learning through thinking about that difficult exchange that I had with her a couple years ago. And then I was able to sort of reframe the way I think about it. I thought about it in a bit more of a positive way. I was grateful for the lessons that I've learned from that interaction that I had with her. And I think the takeaway for me is boundaries and, only inviting in at this point in my life, only inviting in folks that are able to have some level of insight and overall just kindness. So I was able to reframe it, shift it, and get back into that higher frequency. And I just wanted to share that it's a natural thing. Life happens, and then we've got to learn how to clear. So I wanted to talk about how to clear the channel. I call it clearing the channel because it starts to feel like interactions like that, thoughts, difficult times, things we hear on the news, things that we read on the news, just difficult stuff, right? Bosses' comments or picking up on other people's um, heavy energy impacts us. So how do we move through that? I'll tell you one thing that I do just as a baseline is I create a lot of inspiration in my life. I create, and I've done this all my life, whether when I was a little kid to my own individual apartments when I was single in my 20s to everywhere that I've ever lived, is I create a really beautiful space for me. What I feel is beautiful. I love color. I love flowers. I change out my pillows on my couch a lot because I love change. I love my dogs. I love really interesting handmade jewelry. I love really interesting fashion. I'm so inspired when people wear really unique things. Nothing makes me chuckle and happier when I see someone wearing a dinosaur onesie to the grocery store in May and not Halloween. Like, I love it when people go out on a limb just to make their spirit happy. I love to talk about what makes your spirit happy, like what makes you light up, what brings you joy, right? I love unique design. I love I love things that are creative and sort of one of a kind. They really inspire me. I'm inspired by nature. And I moved to a place where nature is all around. So I've really set myself up to live an inspired life. And it's not something that you do and it's over with. For me, it's a constant, like I'm always have fresh cut flowers on my table. I now have them like in 3 different places throughout my house. Trader Joe's has become the place that I go to a couple times a week sometimes to put fresh flowers around. That feels like a big inspiration. I love reading beautifully written books or just fun beach reads. I'm inspired by I love movies that are like set in Italy or France and you get to see the gorgeous countryside. So I really am always scanning for inspiration. Now, what this does for me is inspiration. When I talk about high vibe, I'm not a quantum physicist by any stretch, but they do talk about our bodies we vibrate, right? Our bodies are made of energy, and our energy is a vibration. People argue, is it joy? Is it love? That is the highest of frequencies. It doesn't really matter, but those two are way up there. So when we can access joy, when we can access love, literally our energetic body, our cells, we vibrate. That's why all the t-shirts, all the slogans, high vibes only, right? We vibrate at a higher frequency. What does that mean? That means that we will then attract to us. This is what the quantum physicists are not talking about. We attract to us other things that are out in the quantum field. We will draw things to us that are similar to the rate in which we are vibrating. So the idea is, this is why people talk about manifesting, is you've got to imagine what you want. And then once you can imagine, you think about it because your brain doesn't know the difference between the thoughts and the reality. And so then you live in that frequency of what is to come, of what you're hoping will come your way. But if you can live in the frequency that it's already here, your body is going to attract that to it. So what I say about how does this all connect to intuition? For me, intuition is all about sensations in the body. I do get a lot of intuitive. This might be more psychic. I get a lot of psychic information, it comes in pictures. But for me, my intuition for my own self comes in through the body. And if my body is in joy, love, compassion, feeling creative, in a mode of caring or curiosity, those are a higher frequency. Those help my intuitive channel and my body feel very clear and open. And then I can understand the intuitive hits that are coming in. I can understand the information that's coming in for me through my intuitive channel. And then I can take action to honor it or ignore it or do whatever it is that I'm going to do with my intuition. But that helps my channel stay clear. So another way, if I do get all mucked up in my channel, in my intuitive channel, what I do, the major thing that I do is I walk. I move my body. I walk. Now we know that walking also helps set the nervous system. It resets it. And we know that people that are highly sensitive, I'm a highly sensitive person, an HSP. I'm also an empath, meaning I pick up on all of the energy that's going on around me. So walking is really essential for me in resetting my nervous system and getting back to my own personal baseline. And so what I do, I walk. Okay, another thing that I do is I really pay attention. I really use the elements. So earth, water, air, fire. I use the elements a lot to also help me clear out my intuitive channel and get back to my base foundation of a clear intuitive channel. I'll use water. I take a ton of baths, sometimes with Epsom salts or showers. I talk about that a lot with clients, how to use the elements in the winter. A lot of fire. I light a lot of candles, a lot of fires in the fireplace. I'm lucky enough to have a fireplace. And I use fire, obviously, with the earth. The earth supports me in my walking. And then the air would be breath, right? Thinking about breath. That's probably an area that I need to, that I'm excited to explore a little bit more. I haven't done a ton of breath work, but I know that's a really powerful area that people are having a ton of shifts in exploring breath work. So that's going to be on the future for me. I have a sense. So I just wanted to share with you, we can either start out high vibe or start out low vibe. We can shift our the way that we're feeling intentionally. We can also go out into the world feeling great, and it can be shifted for us unintentionally, but there are ways back. And I think part of why Ange and I wanted to do this podcast was to let people know, we're all human. We're all living on this earth, and it's so easy to have that intuitive channel get mucked up and not feel clear. And I just wanted to share that for me, connecting with my spirit, doing things that inspire me, that inspire my creativity, that inspire my imagination, all of those things contribute to helping me keep a very clear intuitive channel for my own intuitive knowing as well, because I do intuitive readings for people. It helps me tune into their blocks, things that are coming up for them, what needs to be cleared out, their spirit guides, my own spirit guides, and things like that. So a lot of my time is spent in inspiration space. So I wanted to share that. I am sending all of you, all of our beautiful listeners, so much creativity, so much inspiration, and so much gratitude. We're wishing Ange a great vacation, and we will look forward to connecting with all of you when Angela returns. We have some really great guests coming up, and we are excited to share these interviews with you. So thanks, everybody. We're so glad you came by, and we look forward to connecting with you soon. Take good care.
Hey friends, you thought we were gone, but we're back. I'm glad you stayed.
If you like what you heard, click those 5 stars. And if you really like what you heard, please write us a review.
And share with your friends.
Thanks.